My background is mechanical engineering. So I went to Cal State Long Beach, yay. I went to Cal State Long Beach and got my degree there. It's very hands-on. And I started into the orthopedic field. So wrist braces, back braces, knee braces. I have 6 patents in regards to those items. And my specialty really is communicating with our engineers, communicating with our salespeople, and bringing people together so that we can have a good product walking out. And that's what I've really done I worked my way up to director of sales and marketing for retail and podiatry. So I know all the top level budget strategy, all the goal setting and so forth. So I'm taking now the private and public part and being able to represent our constituents for District 3. And I think that's really important. I just changed helping people on health-wise to helping people in the community. And so that's my nature. I just really like to
There's a lot of similarity there.
Yes, in an odd way. I met a civil engineer just yesterday, and she was cracking me up because now she's a lawyer, and she helps people on civil engineering matters for their community. So, I'm not the only one.
There's another area that we have, I think, need to collaborate. Several of the services that we receive from the county are above and beyond just general property taxes. And one is animal control. Just recently, in the last budget cycle, not the current budget cycle, the city, along with the other participant agencies in the animal control services agency that's run by the county, we were hit with some pretty hefty increases. And I know that you're a real advocate for transparency in government and accountability and all those things that make us a better place. That's what I'd like to work with your office as well on, because we can't continue to afford those kinds of hits. And part of that is driven by programs and policies that the county at the board level has sole jurisdiction over, and as member agencies or those that contract for those services don't have a say in. And that's the sort of, I had just yesterday had that conversation at an animal services commission meeting. And explain once again is that it would be helpful for us to understand the cost benefit of the various programs you operate above and beyond just what we contract for,
right,
which is picking up stray animals and housing them at the shelter and those sort of things. But there's a lot of other programs that are operated that we end up indirectly having to pay for, not necessarily that we want, but that we receive as part of the costing back to us as a contractor.
Right. No, I understand, and I've spoken with the director of animal services quite a lot to understand what is the cost of a no-kill. There are huge costs associated with that, and housing our animals and trying to get them out back into the public so that we're not housing them. With that policy, there are a lot of different costs that are associated.
When the no-kill policy was adopted by the board, it was represented to the constituent agencies that contract for animal control services. It wouldn't have an impact. Well, as you just pointed out, that's not necessarily the case, and that has contributed to these big hits that we've gotten in a budget time when we're cutting staff. And so I think we need to re-examine that. And the dilemma that contract agencies like Portland EB have is that we don't participate in the policy decision-making at the board level.
I understand what you're saying, and I do have to give Mike Powers, our CEO, some good points in the fact that he has been really pushing on budget and make sure that our departments are as streamlined as possible if they can. I do know that we are looking at that, especially because of the capacity and the cost and those programs. So we're looking at seeing what we can do, and there is a commission for that. But please note, at any time, you can go to a commission, our animal control commission, and learn. We have the agendas out, and they'll be talking about budget. They talk about what programs are working and what are not working, and so that we can make sure that our cities are up to par as well. And we just had a couple presentations for the Board of Supervisors as well for what was the program for 2017-18 and what is the budget associated with that.
Right.
We're also looking at facilities improvements as well, because if you've been to our Camarillo location, there, it definitely needs some support. Our Simi Valley, we just had to close so that we could fix the problem. So we had, I think it was 30 some stray animals that we had to get foster cared or taken so that we can get that facility back up and running. Our facilities are not Taj Mahals.
Oh, no.
So the money that we're requesting is more for functional, not for any capital or anything like that. But it is again something that we can work on, and to make sure that everyone knows what the process is and what's going on. So then you understand, just like our household, if you give me a bill, I'm gonna ask what it's for, and do we really need this, because we have a budget, and everyone has a budget, and I totally understand that, and we will work with them.
Creating jobs is another big.
Creating jobs, right?
Specifically for the Port Hueneme, because this is such a unique, as you've said, area where we are limited in land, we're limited in access. So the jobs have to be, created in a different way.
Well, what we're doing, and I don't think it's news to you, is that because we do have such an isolated we're the only city in the county that doesn't have direct highway access. We're at the end of the road. And then half our market area is in the Pacific Ocean. And we have half the city tied up in government land that's non-taxable. Makes it pretty difficult. And have the lowest incomes, medium household incomes of any city in the county. So when you add all that up, the demographics aren't favorable, the location isn't favorable. We have to explore non-traditional sources of revenue to create economic vitality. And one that we're doing is cannabis. We just passed in the last meeting a week ago a municipal cannabis ordinance. Now, all the cities in the county itself are grappling with, well, what do we do with this? How do we want to proceed? The city took the initiative in saying, let's make the most of it, and let's make sure we get it right, and we're able to get the best quality vendors and growers and dispensaries that we possibly can. And so that's the kind of approach that we have to take, because we can't rely on car dealerships and big box retailers and the like. We'll never be able to attract that kind of industry. So that's how we're approaching economic development. And then we both have an interest in helping the Harbor District continue to be successful. It benefits us because we have a kind of a stake in the game, so to speak. We have revenue sharing agreements with the harbor, so their success is our success. But then they depend on a transportation system that goes outside our boundaries. And this is where you come in and play a role in the county to help those efforts to make sure that our transportation corridors are getting their fair share to support. And it's not just the harbor, actually, it's the Navy for that matter, for when they, God forbid, have staging operations that they need to conduct, that they have ready access. So we have this kind of symbiotic relation. We're connected at the hip, whether we like it or not.
Oh, I agree.
And so we need to protect those resources that are to our mutual benefit.
Well, listen, I want to thank both of you for this.
Well, I'm not done.
Go right ahead.
Oh, I'm just.
How long do we have?
Oh, no. How often are we going to do this? I could see that.
I know, it sounds like we
quite
can
a
talk
conversation.
forever.
Well, what I was going to tell people is check the chamber website, and
Okay.
that'll list the dates on there when you will be here. But if you want to increase the time, and we want the citizens to come down and discuss the issues that they have,
Right.
we'd be more than happy to.
You know what, I like that idea, because we could go on in our
Yes.
respective mindsets, but it's the public's
Well,
mindset.
this is really unique because we have no radio, TV, or newspaper here, and
Yeah.
getting the word out is one of my main things, and there's multiple ways that we're trying to do it. And for the representatives and the citizens to get together is the number one thing we need, so they understand what's going on.
Right.
And they'll be able to participate and come up with ideas, and then when you guys come with ideas, they'll understand what's going on, so.
Right. And one thing, if you could, you can go to the County of Ventura, ventura.org, and look at, if you need to contact me, Board of Supervisor, District 3, all my information is right there. You can always email me at kelly.long@ventura.org, and I look forward to speaking with everyone or receive an email, contact us. Again, we need to have conversations so that we can understand the issues and that we can all focus on the same direction and make a better Ventura County.
Okay, thank you very much, Kelly.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Mayor.
Absolutely.
And we'll look forward to doing a second show on at the chamber, and look forward for you to come in every other Friday and talk with Kelly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Bye
guys.
for now.
Bye.